Just give me a second. Yeah, hello and good evening, everybody. We are restarting our sessions on Jivanashikshana by Mr. Sudhakar Sharma. I'm so happy to have him back here. And in between, we had taken a break of around 1 month. And I'm so happy that we're all back here. And thanks all of you for coming ahead of time. And somebody has also requested me on the group to record this. Yes, I'm trying my level best. Actually, I'm putting this on YouTube as well. And let's see how nicely that recording happens. So let me set the agenda for today. So it's an open house. Open house, matlab, whatever questions you have on the topics of a quality education, which we call as Jivanashikshana, which is a term coined by Mr. Sharma. And we will discontinue the use of this word called unschooling, homeschooling, which are all very misleading. So we will stick to this word called as Jivanashikshana. I have put this in the group as well, which means an education to live a good life. And that is what it is all about. We will allow him to speak because there has been a gap. Usually he likes to start off with some kind of an introduction, or I would say reintroduction, and he will set the stage for us. And after that, it will be all about questions. Sir, today I have a hard stop at 6:30 p.m. So is it 90 minutes is sufficient for you? Or is it too long?
Okay, no problem.
No problem? Okay, so we will take our last question by around 6:15, 6:20. And that should be everything should be fine after that, sir. Is it okay?
Oh, no problem.
Okay. So thanks all of you once again for coming on time. And I now I'm giving the platform to Mr. Sharma. So please go ahead. It's all yours.
Okay. Good evening to all of you. We have been discussing about Jivanashikshana, the different facets of it. And we had sufficient questionnaire sessions also. Of course, questionnaire sessions will be there at the end of each session also. Feel free to ask any question. To the best of my extent, I will answer the question. If I'm not able to answer, I will also search for the answer as you are doing for your question. That's all. Now, the whole society, if you observe, not only today, since several centuries, they have been fighting and fighting and fighting on different philosophies, on different schools of thought, on different opinions they have. One such topic where a lot of discussion has been taking place and a lot of fights also take place is that big God. And of course, our confusion and our fighting is also, as it is, transferred to the next generation. We have received it from previous generation. We are passing it on to the next generation. We are not able to convince and tell our children convincingly what is God, why is God, etc., etc. So many questions. So we shall spend some time on this concept and convey a categorical decision, categorical understanding, firm convictions to our children so that they can avoid disputes and fights among them. Now, today, what subject I'm dealing is, the first question is God there? Yes, God is there. Make it clear. If anybody is doubtful, or you are an atheist and if you don't believe in God, of course, question answer session is there. To ask the question precisely and I'll try my best to answer your question. So for the time being, we'll take it for granted that God is there. So I can tell your children, God is there. It's right. Many children ask that question to the parents. And the parents will be in doubt. will be in confusion. But let there not be any confusion. God is there. Then, the next question, that's what I'm going to elaborate today. See, when I say God is there, we observe in society that there are many, many, many gods, multitude of gods. That's the second point to get confused. Which is the right God? Which is the supreme God? Which is the inferior God? Yes, on this subject, there have been wars and fights. The history has seen a lot of bloodshed also on the same question. Somebody says, I believe this. Somebody says, I believe God Y. Then another fellow says, God X is superior, God Y is inferior. Another group says, God Y is superior, but God X is inferior. Somebody says, no, X, Y, Z is there. Lot of confusions are there. If I'm right, death over God and fight over God exceeds even the death in 2 world wars we have seen. We have read. So this becomes a very, very crucial question. And unless our children are not given a convincing answer on this, they also continue to fight, which you don't want. We want to make our children live harmoniously, friendly. Now, the basis for me is to answer this question are the Vedas. Veda means knowledge. Many people think that Veda is a religious text of a certain group, a certain sect. No, it's not. It is humane and universal. So I'm taking that universal and humane knowledge as the basis. And I'm trying to answer this question. God is there, first question. Second question, God is one, O-N-E, repeat O-N-E. God is one. God is formless. The gods, what we are seeing, the photos, what we are seeing, the idols, what we are seeing, they're all man-made things. They are imagined things. God is there, repeat. But what we are seeing is not God. God is formless. Why God is formless? Why you understand God as formless? Because God is omnipresent. The idols, the photos, what we see as God, definitely they are not omnipresent. Because it's an imagination. Somebody imagined with the 4 hands, somebody imagined God with 10 hands. Just for example. So there is all difference and fight. Somebody imagined God as male, somebody imagined God as female. Once again, it's a cause for fight. Whereas the God is one, then our problems are solved. Lot of confusions are removed at one stroke. But we call God by different names. Between religions, we call him with again different names. I'm not going to that topic now. Within one group who are in India, we consider God as many. We call him by different names. How do you say it is one? Now here, Vedas proclaim, declare that Nadvitiyo, Natrutiyaha, Chaturtho Napyichyate. This is from Atharvaveda I'm quoting. Na Panchamo, Na Shashtaha, Saptamo Napyichyate, Nashtamo, Navamo, Dashamo Napyichyate. Sa Yesha Eka, Eka Vrut, Eka Eva. It declares very clearly and categorically that there is no second God, third God, fourth God, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. It's just one and only one, categorically one. That's the gist of this mantra, what I told from Atharvaveda. God is one. Natasya pratishtihi. He doesn't have one single place where it's bound. Natasya pratima asti. There is nothing equivalent to him. You can't say I've created an idol, this idol is equal to God. No. I have written a beautiful photo of God and this is equal to God. No. It's all Veda mantras, pieces of Veda mantras. God is there, everywhere, and he is formless. That's the final conclusion. God is one, one, one. We find in many places in Vedas, all the four put together, and they all declare that God is one. So this is the main thing that we have to pass on to our next generation. God is one. So when you declare and say that God is one, lot of problems are solved. I call my God as X. I call my God as Y. Fine, I have no problem. X is equal to Y. X itself is called as Y. Y is itself called X. So when our God is one, lot of problems and confusions and fights are removed. You overcome it. Then why so many names? Somebody calls him Vinayaka, somebody calls him Ganapati, somebody calls him Brahma, somebody calls him Vishnu, somebody calls him Shiva, Maheshwara, etc., etc. How do we understand this? Now the point is this. God has got infinite qualities. Infinite qualities. By looking at one quality, we call him by one name. By looking at another quality of his, we call him by another name. So God has got hundreds of names, but all names get converged to one God. That's the beauty of it. Call him by any name, no problem. It finally gets focused on one formless, omnipresent God. So that is the idea, that is the concept, that's the knowledge given by Veda. But for Veda, others, they say God is not one, or they say God is male or God is female. God is such a subtle entity, subtle Chetana, Parama Chetana, the highest consciousness, and call it by any name, it is one and one and one only. All names, depending on the nature of that entity, finally converges into one. We shall see some examples. Now, another cause is there for all these confusions and disturbances. That is not Veda, but Puranas. Puranas always advocate that God is many. How many? If you go through the Puranas, they say, Mukkoti Devaha. Mukkoti is 3 crore and odd gods. It's not a fact, it's not a reality. It's just a fiction. And they give shapes to gods. And they have concocted a lot of stories about God. All that is anti-Vedic, irrational. Maybe I am speaking a little hard, but unless we understand the truth, hard or soft, we cannot lead a better life. Let me explain. Brahma. So when I say Brahma, they immediately imagine a four-headed god sitting on a lotus with his wife Saraswati playing on veena. And he resides in Brahmaloka. These are all stories out of Purana. The actual thing is, Brahma is a word which is a Vedic word, which is there in Vedas. So every word in Veda has to be understood in a definite, rational, scientific, logical way. You cannot interpret it as you like. What is the method? Which is same to you and me also, which is very objective. That is known as Arsheya Krama, or the method the rishis followed. Every word which is there in Veda is derived. It's not just out of convention, we have not got the words. We don't get the meaning out of convention or practice. It is strictly derived, constructed, manufactured word. And there's a process. For every manufacturing, we want raw material. In the same way, for every word has got a raw material, a root. We call it as dhatu. So every dhatu is assigned a certain meaning, or we understand that it has got a certain meaning. And apart from that meaning, we cannot interpret it in any other way. So a list is there of dhatus and their meanings. And from the dhatu, which is a raw material, which is a basic thing, a whole world is derived step by step according to rules of grammar. So that's very important. So we look at the root of any word that is derived, and the same meaning we understand through the word. Maybe it's small little variations. Now Brahma. What is the root of this word? The root of this word Brahma is Bruha, Bruhi, Vruddhau. Vruddhi, Abhivruddhi, Vruddhi. That's the root of this word Brahma. That is, that which has grown, that which has the potential to grow, that which is the ultimate, that's called as Brahma. So which is the highest entity, highest powerful entity, highest consciousness? It's not me, it's not you. That entity is called as the God, and one name of God is Brahma. These four-headed Brahma and other things, they are all stories, concoctions, imaginations. Then, Vishnu. How do you understand Vishnu? Same procedure, go to the root. What's the root from which this word Vishnu has been derived? That root is Vishilra Vyaptau. Vishilra Vyaptau means that which is omnipresent. There's no question of Kshira Sagara. There's no question of sleeping on the serpent. There is no question of Vishnu having a wife like Lakshmi. No. Nothing is there in that root. It just says omnipresence. That which is omnipresent, that which is everywhere, is called as Vishnu. What is that entity? Once again, the same God called as Brahma itself is also called as Vishnu, that which is omnipresent. Then we go to Ishvara. Who is that Ishvara? Once again, what does it mean? We have got stories. Ishvara is one who is in Himalayas with his wife Gauri, Ganga, and having sons. They're all stories. They're not realities. Then how to understand Shankara? How to understand Ishvara? Ishvara is Isha Aishwarye. That's one root. Isha Niyaman is another root. What does it mean? Isha Aishwarya, the wealthiest entity is that, which is called as Ishvara. Isha Niyamane, that which masters, that it has control over everything in the universe. That's Ishvara. Who is that? Once again, the same God. Same God which we call as Brahma, which we call as Vishnu, itself is Ishvara, because that's the wealthiest. The whole universe belongs to him. Our property is not so rich. It's not so wealthy. Seriously and factually speaking, our property is 6/3. That is only until we are burnt. We are cremated. That's all. That's all our property. We came empty-handed, we go empty-handed. Whereas the whole universe belongs to that entity, God, always, throughout. Wealthiest, richest. You have to remember. That is Ishvara. And there is a master of the whole universe. Whatever rules, whatever systems are in place in this universe, they are all made by him. He is the one who controls. We are not free enough to manipulate that system. We are subject to that system. Within that system, we can do little this way or that. That's okay. But the whole system, we can never understand, we can never control, we can do nothing about it. It's in place, we have to follow it. Now Vinayaka, Ganapati. So the Puranas have told that Vinayaka or Ganapati is that elephant-headed god. No, no such explanation in Vedas. There's no such imaginations in Vedas. And how do you understand Vinayaka and Ganapati? Vinayaka, Nayaka is a master. Vinayaka is one who doesn't have a master because he is the master of all. There is no entity, there is no consciousness better than that God. God is ultimate, that's the final thing. So he is without a master. So he is called as Vinayaka. No stories, no elephant, nothing. Ganapati, once I understand it's the same elephant god. No. Gana is we souls. We souls, we are all called as Gana, a group. Pati means one who protects it. One who protects all these souls as one group, he is known as Ganapati, the protector of all souls. Once again, no question of elephant face. No question of that elephant stout person sitting on a small mouse. No such stories. It's all an outcome of the Puranas. Fictitious. Then you speak of Indra. What is this Indra? Once again, we remember when I say Indra, oh, he is the head of heaven. Heaven is one place and he sits there as Indra. And he will always have damsels like Rambha, Uroshi, Menaka dancing and entertaining him. No, it's all story. There is no such place called heaven. It's not a place, it's a state of our condition. If our condition is blissful, peaceful, happy, comfortable, that itself is Swarga. It's the opposite, that itself is Naraka, hell. I'm confused, depressed, anxious, diseased, so many things. That's my Naraka, that's my hell. I can create my hell, I can create my heaven by means of my thought, talk, and action. I'm free. Wherever I am, I can create my heaven. Wherever I am, I can spoil it and make it a hell. It's not somewhere else where we go after our death. That's all stories, Puranas. So, in that is so, what does Indra mean? And what is the place for Rambha, Uroshi, Menaka? Nothing, nothing. It's all imagination. Indra means Idi Paramaishwarye, that's the root. Once again, the same Isha Ishwarye, this is Idi Paramaishwarye. The one who is the wealthiest is called Indra, and that is nothing but the same God. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Ishwara, Vinayaka, Ganapati, Indra, they're all different names given to the same God. Varuna. Okay, we again come back to our Puranas. They say Varuna is god of water. He is subordinate to God. He takes care of all the water things. No. God is omnipotent and can take care of everything alone. He doesn't need any assistance. He doesn't need any tools. He's so powerful. Omnipotent, we call it. And what does Varuna mean? We go back how that word is derived. The word Varuna is derived from Vring Varane, to choose, to select. That's the root. So finally, what does Varuna mean? The one who can be chosen, the one who can be selected, the best one to be our friend, whom we can choose, is it God. God alone is Varuna. And we can take shelter, we can take recourse to Varuna anytime in our life. He is there to help us. He is there to guide us. The best one whom we can choose and select as our guide and philosopher is that God, and he is called as Varuna. The same one. Agni. Oh, that is fire. Okay. In the physical sense, in the materialistic sense, God is Agni. That is Agni is fire. Okay, fine. But Agni is another name for the same God. We are calling it Brahma, Maheshwara, Brahma, Ishwara, etc., etc. What does it mean? Agi Gatau is a root out of which the word Agni is derived step by step. The root is Agi Gatau. What does Agi Gatau mean? That which is on the move. Please don't, God is omnipotent, he cannot move. But he makes everything in the universe move. Is a driving force. All. Fire is materialistic. Apart from that, the driving force of all movements and changes in the world is that God. He is called as Agni. Agni means the great driving force behind every movement and change. That's the meaning of it. Once again, that is formless but omnipotent. It's called as Agni. Yama, another word. Yama. So whenever I say that word Yama, we all get frightened. Because Yama is the god of death. A second story. Don't go there. Come to the right procedure of understanding the root of every word and how the word was derived. The word Yama is derived from the root Yama Niyamane. Yama Niyamane. That which establishes rules and regulations which cannot be surpassed by any soul. Strict rules that are laid down. That is called as Yama Niyamane. One best example, you all know, nobody can escape death. So they have linked that word yama with death. Not only that, death is okay, inevitable, and we are definitely bound by it once we are born. That's okay. We can't overcome it. At the same time, there are so many other rules also which we can't overcome. So the one which has established those rules and regulations which nobody can surpass, trespass, overcome, that force is called as Yama. That's the same God again, same God. Sir, even after explaining so many things, we are not able to understand or comprehend. I will give an example, easy for you. Say I, for example, I'm called as father. I'm called as a friend. I'm called as a son. I'm called as a grandson. I'm called an elder brother. I'm called an younger brother. I'm called as a husband. I'm called as a grandpa. I'm a very small man. I myself have got so many names. Why? Because that is the type of relationship I have with everyone. A relationship is different from one person to another person. So depending on the relationship, I got so many names. Grandpa is me only. Grandson is also me only. Father is also me. Son is also me. Friend is also me. Husband is also me. It's not different people. I'm the same fellow. He's called by different names. When such is the case, God too, who has got infinite qualities, is also called by different names. Not the same, not that. Every name we know about God, it all refers to one single God. God is one, names are many. I repeat, God is one, but names are many. This is what the Vedas tell us. Okay, call God like this. Wonderful, you call it. You're calling the same God. Shiva. What does Shiva mean? Shivu Kalyane is a root. Once again, go back to the root and derivation. Shivu Kalyane. That which is welfare giving and auspicious is called a Shiva. Who is that? The same God again. Okay, we have seen all masculine gendered words. What are feminine words? What do you understand by Lakshmi? Now the Vedic grammar, it clearly says, the gender is to the word, I repeat, the gender is to the word and not, it need not represent the gender which it denotes. For certain things, we have got some feminine name. It doesn't mean that that is feminine. The word is feminine. You split it, the object which is at the focus and the name given to it. Gender is to the name and has got nothing to do with the name of the object. It's a very clear Vedic rules in Vedic grammar. You may call it by feminine name, but it may be beyond gender. Now the same thing applies to God. God is beyond gender. You may call it by masculine, you may call it as feminine, you may call it as neuter gender. No problem. Yes, we do have this thing. In Vedas, in several mantras, God is referred to masculine gender. In some places, the same God is referred to with a feminine gender. The same God is referred to by neuter gender. What is the gender of God now? No gender, it's all beyond gender. Why God, even the souls which resides in the Sharira Indriya Manas, even that soul too has no gender. Gender is to the body and body only. The structure of the body is in a certain way. It is called male. It is slightly different, it is called female. It is something peculiar, it is called neuter. The soul has no gender. It depends upon the Sharira Indriya Manas, where it resides. That's in a male body, it's also referred to as male. It's in a female body, it's referred to as female. It's a neuter body, we refer to it as neuter. But soul by itself is beyond gender, has no gender. And it is so for soul, it is more so with God. These are not my words. There's a Veda mantra, it says very clearly, Tvam Stri, can understand it very easily. Tvam Stri, Tvam Puman, Tvam Kumara, Utava Kumari. O soul, you are male, you are also female. You are Kumara as well as Kumari. Why so? Because you don't have a gender of your own. Depending upon this Sharirindra Manas in which you reside, you are referred to as male, female, or neuter. It's very clear. So God is beyond gender, but we refer it with some name. That word, that name can be Pullinga or Strilinga or Napumsakalinga. God is beyond gender. So when I say Lakshmi, it is feminine gender, not God. Not God. It's a word which is feminine. Lakshmi. How do you understand this? Today again, when you go back to Puranas, they say Lakshmi is goddess of wealth. She stands as a lotus and showers wealth. Okay, that's a beautiful story. But what is the actuality? What is the fact? The word Lakshmi is derived from a root called as Laksha Darshanankanyoho. Laksha Darshanankanyoho. What does it mean? From which the word Lakshmi is derived? It is giving clear-cut features to everything. You see, variety of things around us. One is not like the other. They are all different. Why they are different? Because they have got different characteristics, different features. And who arranged all those things? That force which created this whole world with varieties, with the distinct and different features, which is visible, that is Lakshmi. Which is that Lakshmi? Once again, the same God. So it is feminine, don't worry. God is beyond gender. Lakshmi. Like this, there are so many words we come across. Masculine, feminine. Masculine with a relationship to the word, not God. Feminine, once again, it refers to the word and not God. God is beyond gender. So beyond gender, God is one, which is omnipotent, which is omniscient, which is omnipresent. No shape, it's formless. Because God is omnipresent, God cannot move, but makes everything in it to move. Everything is in God, and God is in everything. That's what Veda says. Tadantarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. It's inside everything, and everything is in it. It's also a unique feature of God. Book is in the bag, but bag is not in the book. Teeth is there in our mouth, but mouth is not in the teeth. It won't fit in. But here, God is in everything and everything is in God. Yes, it holds good. One single God, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, and has got several names. Some peculiar names are also there. One example is Samprashna. God is also called as Samprashna. That's a big question mark. In spite of knowing God to the best extent possible, still something is left to be known. He's a big question mark. We can't know him fully. So it's called Samprashna. He is called Vidhata. Vidhata means which upholds the whole universe. That force, that entity, that power which upholds, that consciousness which upholds the whole universe is called as Vidhata. He is also called as Vidhata. Bandhuhu, another word. The greatest relative of all of us is that. Not only in this birth, in different births, past and present and future. We have got relationships in this birth also. I have mother, I have father, I have brother, I have sister, everything. But please note, all these relationships will come to an end once we are dead. Once we are dead, I am referred to as the body. They don't refer me as my father is laying there. No, it's a body, dead body of my father, which relationship I had, past tense. That's a condition for our relationships. I say my brother until my brother is dead. I say my mother until my mother is dead. Once my mother is dead, that means once that soul gets out of the body, which I was calling as mother, that's the end of it. There is no relationship. All relationships are owing to the body only. Once the soul gets out of this body, there is no relationship. That's the reality. I don't like it. Fine, that happens. I don't know it. Fine, that happens. I know, then also it happens. It's beyond our knowing or not knowing. There is no relationship beyond death. That's why Vedas never advocate post-death rites or rituals. They have cremated the body, fine, that's the end of it. You need not do any rite, any ritual, because there's no relationship at all. The relationship is gone. So, the actual relationship is with God only always, because omnipresent. The real bandhu for us, the real relative for us is God. That's the between my soul and God. Soul is permanent. God is also permanent. So relationship is also permanent. So like this, God has got another name known as Vidhata. He is also called as Bandhu, Janita, the one who created the Sharir Indriya Manas for the soul. He is the Janita, he is the creator. Please note, God has not created souls. Vedas are very clear. God has not created souls, but has created a universe, Sharira Indriya Manas, for a soul. Janita. Janita means the creator. He has created this whole system. He has created the Sharira Indriya Manas, without which I cannot function. He has created this body, Sharira Indriya Manas. Janita, Vidhata, Bandhu. He is also called as Guru. Why is called Guru? The ultimate teacher is he only. I was not born with all knowledge and things. I have a Guru. He also was born innocent and foolish, maybe with certain samskaras. He was taught, he was guided, he had a Guru. That Guru had a Guru, that Guru had a Guru. Gone. Finally, we end up at the ultimate Guru called God. He is our Guru. He only gave all that knowledge and wisdom to those who deserved it. And that has been passed on from generation to generation. He is a Guru, ultimate Guru. Guru, Bandhu, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, Yama, Agni, called by any name, we have no objection. But please note, all the names are to one God. And this is what we have to teach our children. This is a great value that we have to teach. And God is formless. Don't get lost in a quagmire of idols and photos. God is here in us also. When God is in us also, why should I go in search of God? He's there. I have to realize him here and here only. Lot of confusions, lot of questions will be answered with these concepts. And these are all Vedic concepts. Very clear. I need not go in search of God. Pilgrimage. All pilgrim centers, I repeat, ALL. All pilgrim centers are wonderful business centers. You have money, you get a different treatment. You have no money, you get a different treatment. God is not discriminative. God is same for all. God loves everyone equally. God treats everyone equally. But here, why this discrimination in these pilgrim centers? It's not God. It's the people who are managing that whole business center. So I got all those things. I'm not telling any lie. You also have gone to, or might have gone to such pilgrim centers, and you have also experienced that the discrimination. Don't pay anything, go in Dharma Darshana. Pay something, you have got a special darshan. Yes. You don't pay anything, you get this much of prasad. If you pay more, you get a bucket full of prasad. All these differences we have been seeing. You don't pay anything, you get one flower as prasad. You pay something, you get a shawl for your prasad. Lot of things are there. It's a wonderful business center, I repeat. It doesn't mean that I am an atheist. No. God is there. But not only in these pilgrimage centers, He is there everywhere in me also. I can realize God and not go in search of it. How do I realize? How do I know that I have realized God? It cannot be seen by our sense organs. You cannot perceive it through our sense organs. How do I know God is there, and how can I understand that I have experienced God? Very simple. When we are experiencing peace and bliss, that is realization of God. God can be experienced in the form of peace and bliss. We cannot see Him. Any story telling that God had come, I have seen Him, He served so many people, He helped many people in different forms. It's all a wonderful story. Or maybe the very people who helped us, we see God in Him. That's okay. But God never comes like that with any form. He is formless. He gives us the pleasure of experiencing peace and bliss. He also prompts and gives flashes of thoughts here, because of which you can overcome problems, or you can lead a life without problems. You can avoid problems. So if you understand God like this and pass on it to our children, yes, I've done a great job. Okay, now it's a whole forum is for question and answer.
So can I ask you a question?
Please, you are welcome.
What is avatar then? We talk about incarnations, then what is that?
It's once again a big story. Say for example, I'll tell you, Gita. So Gita is Krishna. Assume that Krishna is an avatar. Then what he should have said? Arjun, this is my 8th avatar. No, he never says this. Then it says, Bahuni janmani vititani tava charjuna. I have taken birth hundreds of times. Many, and I also taken many times. It's a big chain. Is Krishna so dumb, not able to count even 8? No. That's number one. Then another beautiful thing is there in Vedas. Avatar. Avatara means what? To come down. Avaroha, to go up. Agamana, to come. Nirgamana, to go. Now this Agamana, Nirgamana, getting down or going up is possible for a person who is there in one place and not in another place. Now where do you stay? For example, where do you stay? Huh?
Karnataka.
Karnataka, where in which place?
Bangalore.
Bangalore, in which area?
Whitefield.
Whitefield, okay. I am here in Hanumat Nagar, you are in Whitefield.
Yes.
I can come to you, you can come to me.
Mhm.
Because I am in Hanumat Nagar, not in Whitefield. You are not in Hanumat Nagar, you can come to Hanumat Nagar from Whitefield. Now imagine that you are omnipresent. What does omnipresent mean? Same, omnipresent. I am here and in Whitefield also at the same time. How can I come to Whitefield? There's no
You're already-
moment for me. In the
There's no
same
need
way,
Okay.
God, which is omnipresent, cannot come down, no avatara, cannot go up, no aroha, cannot come, no agamana, he cannot go, no nirgamana. Agamana, nirgamana also is a part of our traditional orthodox puja. We invite God, and at the end of the puja, we say, you can go now. You see, he is our chaprasi, who comes when we call and he gets outside and we say. He cannot, he is omnipresent. One which is omnipresent can never come, can never go up, can never come down. So the whole concept of avatara is a beautiful fiction, not a fact.
Oh.
Think over. And Vedas never speak of such avatars. Not in one mantra is there in support of it. Not in one mantra.
Thank you, sir. Clarification.
Okay, next.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Sir, about the Yama, Niyama, and from their Yamaraja, what is the correlation between the two?
No, Yamaraj is fiction. Yama is the same God, which has set up a system of birth and death cycle, which is inevitable. Yama is something which definitely happens, guaranteed, mandatory. So one who has set up such mandatory rules is called as Yama. That's all. Yama Raja, which you find in Upanishads, maybe Kathopanishad, Yama Raja, whom you find and different stories in Purana, Markandeya Purana, etc., etc. That's all fictitious and concoctions and not a fact. It's just a belief. It's just a belief. Believing can be in anything, truth or untruth. But we should have Shraddha. When I say Shraddha, it's belief in truth and truth only. That's a word for that, Shraddha. There is no Shraddha in something which is falsehood. Falsehood we reject outright. Got it, Mr. Prashant?
Sharmaji,
Huh.
it was mentioning that there is no relationship beyond death. Fine, but post death we usually do all the rituals.
Vedas never say it. Vedas never advocated it. Vedas say once the body is cremated, that's the end of it. No further rituals or rites. Vedas are very clear. If you want to take care of your parents, if you want to serve your parents, serve them when they're alive. Do nothing once they are dead and you have cremated them. That's the end of it. That's all Pauranic, especially Garuda Pauranic concoctions. Belief is different. I believe it, okay. I can believe anything. But that's not truth. I have to seek truth. Next.
So what you told to just now, you have answered about, what is done after, like the rituals. Then, the reason being told is that it's very easy for the soul. That's a journey of the soul, right? Not the body. Body is
Now, how
limited.
is the journey of the soul? It takes birth according to its karma phala, according to the result of all its deeds. It takes birth and it continues its journey. That's the journey.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't wait for our, what you call, food or tithi or pinda, what we give. It doesn't wait. It continues its journey in another birth, in another situation. It will have a different father and mother, not even necessarily human being. It could be the child in some creature. That's his journey.
Okay.
Now, for that, I would like to quote a shloka from Mahabharata. It's not that Mahabharata entirely is dependable. Some of them are Vedic and logical and rational. That part we can take it. One such shloka I'm quoting. Yatha darushcha samayete mahodadhau sametyatu vyayete tadrushi jivatam gatihi. What is the journey? You spoke about journey. How does the soul take the journey? They give a simile. They give an example. Imagine you are standing on a hillock. At the bottom of the hill, you have got a big river. And the river is full of wooden logs. Just observe what will happen. Two wooden logs come closer. They move together for some time. Then they separate. One log moves with another log. This log moves with another log. After some time, they also get separated. Another log will come. The log moves with that log. This log moves with another log. So this change of relationship between logs will vary after a certain time. That's how the souls too come together, get separated. Come together, separated. Tadrishi jivatam gatihi. That's how it's explained. Now you can imagine, stand on a mountain, the river and the logs. But please note the relationship between the log and the river is permanent. With whatever log it may move, that relationship is temporary, but always the log will be in relation with the river. That is the God.
Wonderful example. Thank you.
That's the journey. That's the journey.
Guruji, I have a question. As you shared that God created this Panchatattva and universe for the soul. Then I have a question. We say someone attains the moksha, then where does that soul goes? What happened to the soul?
Now, moksha is, to understand, it is a condition where the soul is out of birth and death cycle. It gets released from the birth and death cycle and will be in a state of experiencing peace and bliss. They will be in contact with God. God is different, soul is different. But it will be closer to God and experiences peace and bliss. And it will not get into this birth and death cycle for a great period, which appears for us as infinite. That's how we define moksha.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Shruti, yes.
ಗುರುಜಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದೆ
ಕೇಳಿ ಚಂದ್ರಬಾಬು.
ಈ ಮರಣ ಹೊಂದಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ. ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಆಗೋದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಮಹಾಲಯ ಅಮಾವಾಸ್ಯೆಯನ್ನ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ?
ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಪೌರಾಣಿಕ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್. ಪೌರಾಣಿಕ ಅದು ಅದರ ಕರ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಸಾರವಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆ ಜನ್ಮ ತಾಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವ್ ಯಾರಿಗಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಪಿಂಡ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇರ್ಯಾಷನಲ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಕರೇನೋ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೋ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಯ ಇದ್ರೆ, ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ. ಬಟ್ ರ್ಯಾಷನಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಜಿಕಲಿ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಪಿಂಡ ಇಡೋದು ನಮ್ಮವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಗೆ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ್ಮಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಆತ್ಮಗಳು.
ಇಲಿ ಹೆಗ್ಣ ತಿನ್ನೋ ಕಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಪಿಂಡ ಇಟ್ರೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್. ಕಾಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ತಾನೆ, ಇಲಿ ಹೆಗ್ಣ ತಿನ್ನೋ ಕಾಗೆ ತಾನೆ.
ಹೌದು.
ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಏನ್ ಇಲಿ ಹೆಗ್ಣ ತಿಂತಿದ್ದವ್ರ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಶೇಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ತಿನ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಇಟ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಫನಿ. ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾಗೆಗೆ ಆಹಾರ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇಡಿ, ನಾ ಬೇಡನಲ್ಲ. ಕಾಗೆ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ಕ್ರೀಚರ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಫುಡ್, ಇಟ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಫೈನ್. ಬಟ್ ಅದ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಬಂತಿದ್ರು ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಮೋಸ. ಅದು ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಫಿಕ್ಷನ್.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಕಾಗೆಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರು ನಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದು ಅದನ್ನ ತಿನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಜಿದ್ದಾಜಿದ್ದಿ ಬಿದ್ದು.
ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್, ನಾಟ್ ಎ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸಹ ಗುಬ್ಬಚ್ಚಿ ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರಂತೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಗುಬ್ಬಚ್ಚಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು.
ಹೌದು.
ಕಾಗೆ ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದು.
ಗುಬ್ಬಚ್ಚಿ ಏನ್ಬಿಟ್ರದ್ದು ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇವಾಗ. ನೋಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ರ್ಯಾಷನಲೈಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಇವಾಗ ತಿಥಿ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಒನ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪೀಪಲ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಅವರು ಹೇಗೆ ಆ ತಿಥಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ, 3 ಪಿಂಡ ಇಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಅಪ್ಪನ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ತಾತನ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮುತ್ತಾತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ 3ನೇ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. 4ನೇ ತಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 3. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಹೇಳೋದಂದ್ರೆ 3 ತಲೆಮಾರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷೋ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೋ ಮತ್ತೊಂದೋ ಆಗಿರತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನ್ ಪಿಂಡ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕಾದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪಿಂಡಕ್ಕೂ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಬರೀತಾರೆ, ಇದು ತಾತ, ಇದು ಮುತ್ತಾತ, ಇದು ಅಪ್ಪ, ಹೀಗೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ವಿಚಾರ ಕೇಳೋಣ, ಹೆಸರು ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಡ್ತಿದಾರ ನೀವು? ಆತ್ಮಕ, ಶರೀರಕ್ಕ? ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್.
ಶರೀರಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ
ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಆತ್ಮನ ಅನೇಕ ಜನ್ಮ ಇತ್ತಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟೋ ಹೆಸರು, ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇ ಹೆಸರು, ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇ ಹೆಸರು. ನಮ್ಗೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತು? ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಜನ್ಮದ ಹೆಸರು ಗೊತ್ತಷ್ಟೇನೆ. ಅದು ಇಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು, ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಅವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಬಾಡಿ, ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವೆಂಕಪ್ಪ ಜನನ 1948, ಮರಣ 2020, ಇನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ? ಜನ ಮರಣ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೋ ಶರೀರಕ್ಕೋ?
ಶರೀರಕ್ಕೆ
ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು ಗುರು.
ಯಾಕೆ ಫೋಟೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಆತ್ಮನ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು?
ಇನ್ವಿಸಿಬಲ್.
ಸೊ ಶರೀರಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವ್ ಇಂಥ ಹೆಸರು, ಇಂಥ ಹೆಸರು ಹುಟ್ಟು, ಇಂಥ ಹೆಸರು ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಶರೀರ, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ, ಮನಸ್ಸು ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್. ಆಯ್ತು, ಸತ್ತೋದ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ, ಆತ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಯ್ತು, ಶರೀರ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಸುಟ್ಟಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ವಿ. ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಸರಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಸರಿದ್ದಂತ ಶರೀರ ಸುಟ್ಟಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ವಿ. ಆ ಪಿಂಡದ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಸರು ಬರೋದು, ಇದು ವೆಂಕಟಪ್ಪನಿಗೆ ಅಂತ. ಯಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಪಿಂಡನ? ಆತ್ಮ ವೆಂಕಟಪ್ಪ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಶರೀರ ವೆಂಕಟಪ್ಪ. ಶರೀರ ಕೊಟ್ರಿ ಇದ್ದಂತ ವೆಂಕಟಪ್ಪನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಸುಟ್ಟಾಕ್ ಬಂದಾಯ್ತು. ಯಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪಿಂಡ ನಾನು? ಇಷ್ಟು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಲ್ವ ನಮ್ಗೆ ರ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿ? ಇದು ದಾಸಪ್ಪನಿಗೆ, ನಮ್ ತಾತ. ದಾಸಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೀಗ? ಆತ್ಮ ದಾಸಪ್ಪ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಶರೀರ ದಾಸಪ್ಪ. ಸತ್ತೋಗಿ 70 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತು. ಯಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ ದಾಸಪ್ಪ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪಿಂಡನ? ರಾಂಗ್ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ, ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಆಫೀಸ್, RL ಹೋಗಿ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. RL ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಆಫೀಸ್. ಸಲ ಅದೊಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು, ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ತಿವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಿಂಡ? ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಗುರುಗಳೇ. ನನ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಇವತ್ತು ಸರಿಯಾದ ಒಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ.
ನಮ್ಮ
ತುಂಬಾ
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪನ ಕಾಲದಿಂದಲೂ ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪನೇ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು.
ಓಹೋ.
ನನಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬಂದಾಗಿದ್ದ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅವರಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮಗೆ ಪಿಂಡ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಂಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬಂದಾಗಿಂದ. ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್, ನಾನ್ ಸತ್ತ ನಂಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಸುಟ್ಟಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿ ನೀವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಡನ್ ಇಟ್.
ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಸರ್. ಈ ಹಬ್ಬಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಗಲಾಟೆಗಳೇ ನಡೆದಿವೆ.
ಹೌದು ಹೌದು ಹೌದು.
ತಂದೆಗೆ ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿ ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ತಂದೆಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯಗಳಿಗೆನೆ ಭಾರಿ ಭಾರಿ ಗಲಾಟೆಗಳು ಹಾಕಿರ್ತವೆ.
ಇದು ದೇವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಯುದ್ಧ, ಗಲಾಟೆ, ರಕ್ತಪಾತಗಳಾಗಿವೆಯೋ, ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಸೆಡ್.
ಇದನ್ನ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಈ ಭಾಷಣವನ್ನ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
Yes, we can lead a better life without complications. ಅನೇಕ self created complications ಎಲ್ಲ we can just avoid them and be on the highway. ಈ ಗಲ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ರೋಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆದೋಗಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು ಗುರುಗಳೇ, ನಿಜ.
Look after the parents when they are alive.
Right.
100%.
When they are alive, we don't care for them. Even if if they ask something at the later stages of the life, we don't get them. And after that, we give the same thing, to the whoever come to do the 13th day, to donate the same thing. I remember somebody was asking for a umbrella. Umbrella was given, new umbrella was not brought to his father to go out. But after his death, the umbrella was donated, new umbrella.
Umbrella, cloth, and so many things.
No, forget about it. Umbrella is a practical small thing. That small umbrella, they couldn't get to the father who was going out because it is raining or it is torn or broken. But after his death, on the 13th day, a new umbrella was given to the whoever was there. So when they are alive, you look after them. Okay, you may have a difference of opinion.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't mean that we have to totally ignore them. And then
if there is a difference of opinion, don't obey, but serve them. This is a difference between service and obedience.
The overall essence is, when they are alive, just give them maximum care and
serve them. Yes, you're right.
That's a great, sir. Thank you so much.
Don't send them to the Vruddashrama.
That is true. Thank you, sir.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Tell me.
ಗುರುಜಿ, ಇವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ ಬಾಬು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಚಂದ್ರಬಾಬು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಆತ್ಮ ಸತ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರ ಕರ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಬೇರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಜೀವಕೋಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ಮ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಸರಿ.
ಜೊತೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಕಾಲರ್ ಜೊತೆ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಜೀವದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಏನಿದೀವಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿರ ಅಂತದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಜನ್ಮ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರು ಅಂತಾರೆ,
ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಗೊಯ್ ಅನ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಿಸಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇವಾಗ ವಾಯ್ಸ್?
ಈಗ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳಿ.
ಗುರುಜಿ, ಇವಾಗ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಚಂದ್ರಬಾಬು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ಸತ್ತ ಮೇಲೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಆತ್ಮ ಅವ್ರ ಕರ್ಮ ಫಲವಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆ ಒಂದು ಜೀವದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ರೈಟ್? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಗುರುಜಿ?
ಬೇರೆ ಒಂದ್ ಜೀವಿತ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಜೀವಾಗಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಂತ ಯಾವ ಶರೀರ, ಅವರು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಶರೀರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವೇನಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ ಶರೀರ ಮಧ್ಯ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಕರ್ಮ ಫಲವಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಅಂತ.
ಹೌದು.
ಓಕೆ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೇ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ಮ ಫಲವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು.
ಏನೇ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನ್ಮದ ಮೊದಲ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಜನ್ಮದ ಕರ್ಮ ಫಲ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಪತಂಜಲಿ ಯೋಗ ದರ್ಶನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಚಿಂತನೆಯನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸತಿ ಮೂಲೆ ತದ್ವಿಪಾಕೋ ಜಾತ್ಯಾಯುರ್ಭೋಗಾಹ. ಜಾತಿ, ಆಯು ಮತ್ತು ಭೋಗ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕರ್ಮ ಫಲದಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಜೀವನದ ಮೊದಲ ಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುವಂತಹದ್ದು ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ. ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್ಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೀಸ್. ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್, ಜಾತಿ ಅಂತ ಬಂತಲ್ಲಿ. ಜಾತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಅಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಿ ಜಾತಿ ರೆಫರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಪತಂಜಲಿ. ಜಾತಿ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. Species is the group of animals to which we belong. I may become a human being, I may become an elephant, a cock, or a peacock. That's jati. Jati is a species to which I belong to. And the second one is known as ayu. Ayu also I got confusion. Ayu doesn't mean in terms of years. It's in terms of capacity. Fixed capacity. If I use that fixed capacity diligently, I may live for long years. If I squander my capacity, I may die earlier. That's Ayu. Ayu is in terms of capacity. It's not in terms of years. The years may be extended or shortened, depending upon how we use that capacity. And the third one, what we have got is Bhoga. Bhoga is our share, where we are born, whether I am born rich or whether I am born poor. That's Bhoga. But once born in a rich family, may not be rich continuously, he may become poor. A poor fellow may become rich. It all depends upon our efforts, Purushartha, our Prayatna, and everything is settled. Then whatever happens later, it's all called as prarabdha karma. The karma of this birth only. Say today I get cancer. I cannot say it's my karma in my previous life. No, it's the result of smoking which I did in this birth. That is a cause for cancer of mine today. So I cannot attribute everything what happens in this to previous karma. If it is so, what it means, whatever I do now, I cannot improvise, I cannot grow, because all is a result of previous karma. I always attribute to previous karma. It is in previous karma I did something, today I am suffering. No. Today I can improvise. Today I can develop with my efforts. But my starting point with these three parameters, jati, ayu, bhoga, that is fixed. Now, whatever I do, I cannot become a healthy man because by birth, I am not so healthy. To some extent I can do. There are many things which I cannot cure. My ayu is fixed. How can I increase the number of years or span of life? Only by using the capacity diligently, I can do it. So like this, we have to understand that Punarjanma theory.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಗುರುಜಿ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಆತ್ಮಗಳು ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ? ಆ ದಾರಿಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ್ಮಗಳು ತಿರುಗಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿರಿ, ರಾತ್ರಿ ಹೊತ್ತು ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಫನ್ನಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಆತ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಎದುರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೋ ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆತ್ಮಗಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸತ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇವಾಗ ಆತ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹಾಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ
Excuse me, 1 minute.
Yeah. Hi everybody. So we have a hard stop at 6:30. We have 14 more minutes. So based on how much time he takes for this answer, we will decide whether we take the next question or not.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Another thing is also there. Because of time limit, if your questions are pending, it's always open. In the next session, you can start with your question only. Then I'll share some thoughts with you. No problem at all. Okay. The soul has got three status. One is living, as you and me, with Sharira Indriya Manas. This is called as an Abhimani Jiva. That's the terminology what you use. Then another state where it is without Sharira Indriya Manas, but still in the birth and death cycle. That is called an Anushayi Jiva. The third one is beyond birth and death cycle. That is called as the Mukta Jiva. Only three conditions. There is no fourth one. No ghost, no devil, no phantom, nothing. They're all imaginations. Now, when it is in Anushayi Jiva, without the Sharira Indriya Manas, it cannot communicate, it cannot express, it cannot experience. It's in a dormant stage. It becomes active once it gets a Sharira Indriya Manas. Without Sharira Indriya Manas, there's no communication between that soul and other souls which are in the Abhimani stage. It's very clear, scientific, logical. Preta, Pishachi, Bhuta, nothing of that sort. It's all imagination. Nobody has seen a Pishachi, nobody has seen a Bhuta. You tell them, have you seen? No, no, my uncle was telling. You ask that uncle. He says, my friend told. You ask that friend, he will say, some other person has seen. I only heard about it. Okay. Excuse me for the day, because I'm getting a lot of cough. So I think we'll close this session today. And next week, when you meet again, yes. If you have any question, we can start with that. Okay, Mr. Gangadhar, you can take over.
Sir. Sure.
Thank you,
very much.
Guruji.
Thanks for your very energetic talk. You can drop off the call, sir. No problem.
Right.
Yeah. So for the rest of you, thanks a lot. Okay, for joining. And I would like to say that from Tuesday, I am starting a class on Hasta Mudras. That is, your health will be in your own hands. We can replace a doctor. And we have had tremendous experiences by using this called Hasta Mudra. And we would like to give that knowledge to you through 8 classes in August, starting on Tuesday. Tuesday and Thursday, we will have the classes. So anybody who wants to join this can ping me on WhatsApp, and then I'll let you know the next steps. All right. So thanks a lot. Thanks for joining this. So take care, all of you. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.